I'm Robert Harrison, 72 years old, and I thought I knew my 3 sons well. But sometimes, you have to lose everything to discover who truly loves you. For 40 years, I built Harrison Construction from the ground up. My hands poured every foundation, my sweat dried on every beam. The company grew beyond my wildest dreams, and I made sure my boys never wanted for anything. Private schools, college funds, new cars on their 16th birthdays. I gave them the world I never had. My oldest son, Marcus, became a corporate lawyer in the city. Sharp suits, corner office, always too busy for Sunday dinners. My middle son, Derek, followed me into construction, taking over the family business 5 years ago when my back finally gave out. And then there's Thomas, my youngest. He chose a different path entirely, becoming a social worker in the rougher part of town. I'll admit, I never quite understood that choice. The idea came to me one sleepless night last spring. My doctor had just told me my heart was stronger than ever, that I might have another good 20 years ahead. 20 years is a long time to wonder about the wrong things. I needed to know the truth about my sons before I wrote my will, before I decided who would inherit what I'd spent a lifetime building. So I created a lie. I told them Harrison Construction was failing, buried in debt from bad investments Derek had made. I sold my house, moved my money to hidden accounts, and transformed myself into a man with nothing. No home, no savings, nowhere to turn. Then I called my sons, one by one. Marcus answered on the 4th ring, irritation already in his voice. Dad, I'm in a meeting. Son, I need help. The company's gone under. I've lost the house. I was hoping I could stay with you and Jennifer for a while, just until I get back on my feet. The silence stretched so long I thought the call had dropped. Dad, you know our condo only has 2 bedrooms. Jennifer's mother is already using the guest room. Have you tried Derek? He's got that big place. My throat tightened, but I pushed on. I understand. Could you maybe help me with a small loan then? Just for an apartment deposit. Look, Dad, Jennifer and I have our own financial commitments. We're saving for a beach house. Maybe you could look into senior housing. There are some very affordable options. I'll text you some links. He hung up before I could respond. Derek was worse. He blamed me for the company's imaginary collapse, said I'd built it on shaky ground and he was just cleaning up my mess. You always acted like you were some kind of business genius, but look where that got you. I've got my own family to think about now. My kids need stability, not a bankrupt grandfather living in their basement. 2 sons down. My heart felt heavier than it had in years. I almost didn't call Thomas. Part of me was afraid of his rejection, afraid that 0 for 3 would break something in me that couldn't be repaired. But I dialed anyway. Dad. Hey, is everything okay? Just hearing the concern in his voice, I nearly abandoned the whole test right there. Thomas, I'm in trouble. Real trouble. The business failed, I've lost everything. I didn't know who else to call. Where are you right now? Are you safe? I'm at a motel, but I can only afford 2 more nights. Pack your things. I'm coming to get you. Thomas, I don't want to be a burden. Your brothers said. I don't care what they said. You're my father. Give me the address. 3 hours later, Thomas pulled up in his old Honda, the one with the dent in the passenger door he kept meaning to fix. He hugged me tight in that motel parking lot, and I felt shame wash over me for the deception. His apartment was small, a modest 2-bedroom in a working-class neighborhood. Nothing like the sprawling homes his brothers owned. He gave me his bedroom and took the couch without hesitation. It's not much, Dad, but it's home. You'll stay as long as you need. Over the following weeks, I discovered who my youngest son really was. Thomas woke at 5:30 every morning, made us both coffee, and left me encouraging notes before heading to work at the community center. He came home exhausted, having spent his day helping families in crisis, yet he always asked about my day, always made sure I'd eaten. His girlfriend, Sarah, a nurse with kind eyes and a ready smile, brought groceries every weekend. She never once made me feel like an imposition, though I knew my presence complicated their lives. Your dad's been through a lot, I overheard her tell Thomas one night. We'll figure it out together. I watched Thomas stretch his modest salary to cover 3 people instead of 2. He canceled his streaming services, stopped going out with friends, picked up extra weekend shifts. He never complained, never made me feel guilty. When I offered to look for work, he just squeezed my shoulder and said, "Rest, Dad. You've worked hard enough for one lifetime." One evening, I found him at the kitchen table, surrounded by bills and his checkbook. His face was drawn with worry. "Everything all right, son?" He looked up, forcing a smile. "Yeah, Dad. Just juggling some things. Nothing to worry about." But I saw the overdue stamps on those envelopes. I saw him quietly selling his guitar, the one he'd saved for years to buy, on an online marketplace. I saw him choosing between paying his electric bill and buying proper groceries. And still, he never asked me to leave. Never suggested I try his brothers again. Never made me feel like anything but a welcome guest in his home. Marcus called once during those 2 months. "How's the homeless life treating you, Dad? Found a shelter yet?" He laughed, actually laughed, before hanging up. Derek didn't call at all. But Thomas, every single night, sat with me on that worn couch and talked. Really talked. About his work, his dreams, his memories of me teaching him to ride a bike, to throw a baseball, to measure twice and cut once. "You know what I remember most," he said one evening. "You were always there. Every school play, every parent-teacher conference. Marcus and Derek had the fancy toys, but I had your time. That meant everything." That's when I knew the test was over. I called my lawyer the next morning and made arrangements. Then I sat Thomas down and told him the truth. His face went through a dozen emotions: shock, confusion, hurt, and finally something that looked like understanding. "You were testing us." I was. "And I'm sorry for the deception, but I needed to know. Your brothers showed me exactly who they are. And you, son, you showed me what it means to truly love someone, not for what they have, but for who they are." I handed him the envelope my lawyer had prepared. Inside were the new will documents and the deed to Harrison Construction, now entirely in his name. "I don't want this," Thomas said quietly. "I don't want the company. That's not who I am." "I know. Sell it if you want. Keep it and hire someone to run it. Whatever you choose. But you're the only one who deserves it, because you're the only one who cared about me when I had nothing." Thomas was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "I didn't help you because I thought there'd be a reward. I helped you because you're my father, and that's what family does." "I know, son. That's exactly why you're the one getting everything." We called Marcus and Derek the next day. Their reactions were predictable: anger, accusations, threats of lawyers. But I felt no guilt. They'd made their choices. 6 months later, Thomas did sell the company, for more money than he'd ever dreamed of having. You know what he did with it. He started a foundation providing housing assistance to families in crisis. He expanded the community center where he works. He married Sarah in a small ceremony that was full of more love than I'd felt in years. And me. I'm living in a comfortable senior community now, one I chose myself, not because I had to but because I wanted to. Thomas and Sarah visit every Sunday without fail, often bringing the families they've helped, people who want to thank the men who made their second chances possible. I see Marcus and Derek occasionally. The relationships are strained, formal. They're polite now, probably hoping I'll change my mind. But some lessons come too late. I learned something profound through this test: wealth isn't measured in buildings or bank accounts. It's measured in the heart of a son who gives up his bed, his comfort, his savings, for a father he believes has nothing left to give. Thomas had the least to offer in material terms, but he gave the most where it mattered. And that's a kind of richness no amount of money can buy.